two AI stocks, and Bitcoin approaching all-time highs. But can they pass their key levels, or will this turn into resistance? That's the question that I'm focused on, and stay tuned to see which one I think has the best setup and why. GE Vernova, Microsoft, and Bitcoin are all dancing with critical levels, but do they have enough momentum to make it to new all-time highs? Let's start with this. What is a breakout? A breakout is when price pushes past key resistance or past the previous high and it holds. This can trigger what traders call price discovery, where the market finds a new value above its previous levels. Think of this as uncharted waters. No prior sellers, no overhead resistance, clean skies. But here's the twist. A breakout often needs a catalyst to break past the previous highs. If it stalls or fails, that same level could turn into resistance. And if you're in for a trade, you could be getting stuck at a short-term top. And that's where traders get caught. Now, let's start with the IBIT or Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock. Chart tells a story. The IBIT ETF has tested the $60 level multiple times now, each time pulling back. But we've set up a solid base after failing from those levels previously, and we are approaching that $60 level again with some serious momentum. So what could be the potential catalyst that makes Bitcoin break out here? There are a few macro tailwinds to stay focused on. Trade deals are starting to hint at global capital flows shifting, having gold recently catch its breath after a huge run-up due to all the geopolitical uncertainty. Also, the US debt situation is not going away, and the tax bill increasing our deficit is making things even worse. This could potentially make treasuries less attractive, and especially if the Fed does end up cutting rates later this year, yields will come down, making treasuries even less attractive, forcing investors to go further out onto the risk curve for returns. And finally, stock valuations are also stretched, making it harder for investors to find opportunity within the stock market. Bitcoin is now looking more and more like an alternative asset that investors can trust. It also typically trades more on the technicals and not fundamentals, and this technical setup currently could be ideal to bring Bitcoin up to new highs. Next, Microsoft, a powerhouse in software and currently teetering towards new all-time highs. Microsoft recently rocketed above the $450 level after its last quarter's strong earnings report and has kept that momentum since to hold above that key $450 level. But it's been here before, and we've seen sellers come in above this $450 level, creating a spot of resistance for Microsoft. Therefore, with earnings now past us and not coming until next quarter, what could be the catalyst that allows us to stay or break past these levels? Now let's talk about an AI sleeper, GE Vernova. This setup is more similar to Bitcoin, having an aggressive run up to all-time highs and then correcting to form out a base just to pick up momentum again to really get ready to drive past those former all-time highs. GE Vernova has climbed over the last year alone from $150 a share up to roughly $450 a share now, nearly a 3x return in 1 year. But the stock is now at its all-time high. Therefore, we may see either an explosive continuation or we could consolidate here if sellers start to step in. Even worse, we could see a sharp correction off these all-time highs if buyers don't step up. Now, breakouts are beautiful when they work, but if you're trading, you can't just try to predict, you have to be prepared. For Bitcoin, I would be watching for a clean break above the $60 level in the IBIT ETF with high volume and positive news. For Microsoft, we'd really be looking for some type of catalyst here, or again, it could stall out, lose this momentum, and fail at that $450 level. Again, we really need a catalyst here. Otherwise, it could fail again, and this level could turn into even further resistance. For GE Vernova, momentum is absolutely there, but risk is elevated as we are approaching back to those all-time highs where sellers came in last time. Now, between the three, I am most cautious on Microsoft, as again, there's no real clear catalyst coming up here, and we are also trading at historically high valuations, making me think that some sellers may come in to take profits. I think Bitcoin has the best setup here, as if it breaks past those key resistance levels and onto new all-time highs, we're going to move into new price discovery on this asset, which pretty much purely trades on technicals. And we also have some macro tailwinds fundamentally pushing it in its favor. And GE Vernova has been an absolute rocket ship with no end in sight for demand for AI infrastructure and data centers. But with amazing runs like this, you're bound to consolidate or have the stock catch a breather within the short to medium term. Now, drop a comment below on your favorite of these three setups and if you would be buying any into the breakout. As always, like and subscribe to stay up to date for any future setups.